So I just finished another run, and it's about -10 today, which wasn't as cold. I think we were averaging -15 for the last few weeks, and it's been the highest that has been. I think it was -20, or should I say the lowest. So as you know, lately we've been in this lockdown, and situations like this where you cannot do anything for a certain period of time, it's kind of new. But if you think about it, there were situations probably where you were injured. Maybe you got laid off from work before, maybe you didn't have work for a while. So the periods of time when we were not doing much is not new, but definitely in this way it's the first time. This whole situation kind of reveals what you really are capable of and what you really will do if you were to face any challenges. So just like any situation on court, when you're losing or you're being cheated, how are you going to respond to this situation? What are you going to do? If you're losing a set after having set points, what are you going to do in the second set? So things like this. And I think this situation is no different. So what I started noticing with myself, that I became less active. I became a little bit less motivated to do anything because like everything is, you're not allowed to do anything pretty much. And if you know me, I absolutely hate running. If there's one thing that I really hate doing in terms of physical activity, guys, running is number one. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna challenge myself really, and I'm gonna create a situation where I'm not comfortable. And I've never ran in the winter season. I could force myself to run when it's warm, when it's nice, whenever we would travel, to warm destinations for tournaments. I would go for a run with kids sometimes on my own, but definitely it's easier to force yourself to run when it's hot, when it's beautiful scenery around, but definitely not when it's like this. There's a little bit of a snowstorm right now. It's -10, and we had like as low as -20. My feet are, as you can see, they're pretty wet, super uncomfortable, wind in your face, like snow everywhere, and it's pretty cold. Like, you feel it, especially as I'm walking. It gets colder by the minute. So I started doing this whole run just to shake myself up, and I just wanted to record this video to share it with you guys, because as a tennis player, if you're spending your time at home during this whole quarantine thing, you're wasting an opportunity to get better. You're wasting an opportunity to improve one of your aspects of you as a tennis player. You could, and I hope you're thinking like this at all times. If you're injured, for example, why not spend extra time visualizing or watching tennis matches? If you can't play tennis for a certain time, what else can you do in that time to get better? What else can you do to prepare for the time when you can go back out there? So this presents a perfect opportunity for us to improve mentally. And it doesn't have to be running in the cold outside. It can be anything else that you can come up with. That's the beauty about it. Do something that scares you a little bit. Do something that you're not comfortable with, because there will be numerous times on a tennis court, when there's going to be something that's going to be putting you off your best tennis game, that's going to be affecting your inner state of mind. And when you know how to behave in that situation when it's uncomfortable, when you know that you've been there and you can overcome it, it becomes significantly easier to overcome these things when you're facing them on a tennis court. That's why it's very important to have these experiences outside of tennis court, because it prepares you for any challenges that you might face. Because think about it, like, and it's not my phrase, somebody said it before, that tennis is basically, every tennis match is life in miniature. It's the small experience that we live on a tennis court that we can relate to life. So conversely, everything we face outside of tennis court, everything that we face in real life, we can bring that experience back on a tennis court. So find a way to challenge yourself, and this is a perfect opportunity to do it, because I promise you there will be time on or off tennis court when you'll struggle, you will face a certain challenge, and it doesn't matter what kind of challenge this is. It's all about your mental preparation. It's all about how your mind responds to difficulty, how your mind responds to adversity. So by putting yourself in these situations, you're training your mind to respond in a certain way. For example, you learn how to distract yourself. Like, I'm running, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like doing anything crazy physical here, just like a 20-minute run. I started with 10 minutes, but then I worked myself up to 20 minutes, which is nothing extraordinary by any means. But I learned to distract myself by, when you're approaching the time when it gets really difficult and you want to stop, this is the time when you have to distract yourself. And same thing on a tennis court. There will be times when, and you know it better than I do, guys, you're competing, and you were competing quite often. There's this time when you start thinking about the score, you start thinking about closing the set, closing the match, closing the game. And these are the times where you have to distract yourself from those kind of thoughts and focus on your objective, focus on your tactics, focus on something that's working. So I thought I would share this little experience with you guys, and I'm really hoping that it's resonating, that it's helpful, and more importantly, motivating, because that's the whole purpose of this video. I started doing it for myself, to challenge myself, and because I felt like I was not doing much, when I was recording videos, I was doing some other work, I was doing some photography stuff, but physically I wasn't really progressing, and that was bothering me. So that's why I started doing this. And I just, like I said, I never ran in the winter, and I thought about, well, maybe it's gonna be March soon, it's gonna be April soon, just wait up. And then I was like, no, like, you have to do it, like, you have to try it. This is gonna be a perfect opportunity to put yourself in this kind of situation of being uncomfortable. So there you have it, guys. I just got home just on time, because it was getting actually pretty cold. So I hope you got something out of this video, and if you did, feel free to subscribe and leave a like, because it helps the channel out to get discovered by other people like you. So I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.